work with kids using multiplication and division problems, I will separate the types of division into two distinct categories as I plan the story problems for them. I won't really demonstrate it to the kids what I mean, but pedagogically, the types of problems that I come up with will use variables in each of these categories. The variables will be the number of groups, the group size, or the total number of items. And depending on which of these you leave as the unknown, you will get multiplication, if you leave this unknown, or a partitive division or a measurement division, depending on which of these is missing. Before going to the standard algorithms, I like to work with using blocks. So in a problem such as 45 times 12, we've got 45 total in each of these rows. So there's 4 tens and 5 loose ones beside it, and 12 copies. And I've got a big box around a group of 10 of them with a smaller rectangle going around the last 2 copies. And that's to visualize our base 10 of really just making it easier to count by groups of 10. So in the first box, where that has 10 of the groups of 45 selected, I can see that I have 40 tens and 50 ones. And then down with the remaining 2, we have 8 tens and 10 ones. And when we use the standard algorithm for multiplication, it does break them into these types of tens and ones, but it's a little bit harder to see using a standard algorithm. And I want the students to know pretty much that we're taking the 40 and copying it twice, and the 40 and copying it 10 times, and the 5 and copying it twice, and the 5 and copying it 10 times. And the order of it at first really wouldn't matter unless you really need them to get to the standard algorithm. But writing out something like all of the steps here on the bottom, and then they can come to the sum. So I have had it before where underneath the multiplication problem, they'll write 4 different numbers and then they add the total. So 5 copied twice is 10. 40 copied twice is 80. 5 copied 10 times. And 40 copied 10 times. So I've got a 10, 80, 50, and a 400 that I'm totaling. And these are the same numbers that I was getting results for over here, just written as 40 tens instead of 400. And then 10 plus 80 plus 50 plus 400, we would get to our total of 540. In a division problem, I have ways that I'll allow students to get at doing problems without using the standard algorithm just to make it a bit more accessible. So this is a bit different than what you've seen before, most likely. But I took a problem of 22 divided into 1,564, and then I took out copies that are easy to think of, easy multiples of 22. An easy multiple of 22 is taking 10 copies of it. So you'll see that I wrote 220 here, and then I have a 10 off to the side to keep track of how many times I've subtracted a 22 from that total. I got a new total of 1,344, and then I doubled the result up here, the 220, to get 440. Doubling is a pretty quick strategy. So now I've taken another 20 copies out, doubled it again, and removed 40 copies. And then here with 24, 22 only fit into it one time, so I've got a remainder of 2. Then all of these numbers here, 10 plus 20 plus 40 plus 1, total 71 with a remainder of 2. So I can take 71 copies of 22 out of this 1,564 with 2 remaining. And this is pretty accessible because there's really not a wrong way to do it in terms of how many copies to take at once. This is really flexible.